buying online because they feel that they don't trust the platforms. And the e-commerce companies say they want to go cashless. The e-commerce companies will be out of business. So first, they've been able to get customers by saying, you can trust us, we will give you what you ordered, and then you pay cash. Going forward, customers may now feel that, okay, we can trust these guys, so for the next couple of transactions, we can now start paying online. And you see, like the last time I was here, I was discussing mobile money. Mobile money will play a critical role also, because by the time people have, I'm just saying this, by the time people have money on their mobile phones, as soon as the item is delivered to them, they can transfer to the delivery man's phone. So you have something that's neat, because we have that challenge with a lot of this e-commerce. If you see an e-commerce delivery truck, armed robbers may feel that this is a delivery truck filled with cash, because they must have gone to make deliveries and they were paid in cash. But by the time we
have security issues as well to contend with.
But the thing is, the business has to exist first. The business is thriving gradually. And as it thrives and proceeds, you have these guys improving.
What role do the banks and the financial houses play in all of this? Because, we're talking about transferring funds over a secure network. So is it, how would this process be monitored? How can the banks help the retailer to make sure that their business doesn't fall and encourage less of cash exchanging hands and more of this monies, going via secure online channels?
Well, the banks have been in that area. I think the banks have performed very well, and also the switching companies also have performed very well. The thing is, there are times when businesses, and I think transactions are quite secure. I would say they are quite secure. There will be instances where things would go wrong, but those instances are a minute minority, I would say. For example, if I'm to even use another analogy, every month we hear about bank robberies.
Yes.
But do we say end banking because bank robbers rob banks? No. We still proceed with banking regardless of the challenges. So for e-commerce, when you talk about transactions that fail, you're trying to make a payment and it doesn't go through, I think that's a minority. It's a challenge that has to be worked upon every day, but I don't think it is so pervasive that it would totally.
But don't you think that there have been more than one situations where things like this has actually happened, that you conduct a transaction online and you feel that you're paying through a secure channel and the money doesn't get there? So at the end of the day, who bears the brunt? Because you feel you've paid for a certain service and you want that service to be delivered, but it doesn't come through. So who's going to pay for it?
Well, the thing is, as an ex-banker, I know that money doesn't just disappear. Money is always somewhere. It could be with the switching company, it could be with the bank. But I think,
or it could have been transferred to another unmarked account, another account that none of the parties concerned know about.
The chances of that happening is very slim. I think the issue is the banks and the switching companies and the e-commerce companies need to step up on monitoring. Money usually, there's an industry jargon, money usually hangs somewhere. There's always money somewhere that should in a place where it shouldn't be. So it's for these companies or these stakeholders to always monitor to ensure that if they find money where it's not supposed to be, that it is put in the right place. But when it comes to fraud, when it comes to outright fraud, there must be insider participation. It can't just be a system issue where the system just transfers by itself money from one person's account to a hidden account. There must be an insider participation to perpetrate fraud. But when you talk of system issues, these things happen everywhere. They even happen in America. The incidence rates may be higher in Nigeria, but they happen everywhere. I think what is key is step-up monitoring and step-up customer service, because there are times when these things happen and customers call either the e-commerce provider or call the switching company or call the bank, and they don't get prompt resolution to their issues. I think they need to step up on that customer service or customer complaints resolution, and things would improve considerably.
Now, do they have is there a regulatory framework for e-commerce in Nigeria? And first of all, just answer that one. Is there?
Well, there isn't as such. There is more of a regulatory framework for the different businesses that e-commerce practitioners practice. For example, for an airline that sells air tickets, you have the regulators in that area. For somebody who sells electronics, you have the regulator in that area. So it's e-commerce is a platform.
Okay.
It's an all-commerce platform. So we don't really have a regulator as such. We may have a regulator for the internet, so, which is different from a regulator for e-commerce.
But there should be a framework where everybody knows the rules and regulations and the policies of how they're supposed to conduct and transact business on this kind of platform to make it a more saner industry, don't you think?
You see, you mentioned social media before. The good thing about internet businesses is you can't hide in a hole. If you're doing things wrong, there is this sense of citizen reporting.
But you've forgotten that I can also change. Most of these people can change their names. We have a lot of times where you see different accounts owned by one person, and the person uses it to transact business. So, in a situation like that, what makes you so sure that such a person will not change the name he uses for a particular account and still continue to transact business?
Okay, I want to understand clearly. So, what you're painting is a scenario where you have a website where you can go to buy items. For example, you make payments and they take your money and they don't deliver the item. Yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. The internet, even globally, faces the same scourge. And it's something that is very tricky to handle because there's no barrier to setting up a website. And even in America, a lot of these things are regulated reactively. Someone doesn't register a website and you see this person is a crook. You allow the person to operate, and then you would now see how the person is operating. If you get complaints, then you try to track the person down. But you see, the thing also is we need to also set up a framework where we need to set up companies, for example, that vet providers. Let me give you a clear example. Like there's a company called Alibaba in China. What they do is it's a website where businesses connect to businesses, B2B. As a businessman in Nigeria, I want to import maybe drinks. I go online, I search for Alibaba. I search for a drink supplier maybe in India, and I contact them. So what Alibaba does is, for there are classes of businesses that they called gold businesses. Those ones, they verified their address and their registration. So that's the same kind of thing we need in Nigeria. For example, if you want to do business, there should be maybe a website, a monitoring website, where you can go to verify that these people, you verified their address, you verified their location, and they are good to do business.
What makes you so sure that if such a website does come up with all those addresses of companies that are verified, what makes you so sure that that website itself that has those addresses on it is genuine and it's not fake?
Well, you see, the thing is, you don't just trust people in one day. You would have built a relationship with them over time. For example, we trust the companies that we register email addresses under, the companies where we go to search for stuff online. Mm-hmm. We trust them, because over and over you've tried them and they've delivered. So you have a company that first is trusted and that will now vet other companies.
Tobina, I'm sure you remember once upon a time we had Wonder Banks.
Yes.
Now, we know that when they came up, they gave a lot of customers, they gave a lot of customers returns on their funds, boosting confidence in them that they can actually deliver. And then just like that, they disappeared, and with it, depositors' funds. So what I'm trying to say now, and you see that immediately that happened, we had a regulator who swung into action to make sure that he could save as much depositors' funds as possible. Now we have e-commerce in Nigeria. The policies that we have, are they enough to ensure that when any of these retailers goes under for any reason, customers who probably have paid for items online but have not received or collected them will not lose both ways? They will not lose their money and lose the goods that they've paid for. Okay,
let me paint a scenario to you. If for example you are dealing with a brick and mortar company, a company that has a shop, maybe you want to order 100 TVs, you pay for those 100 TVs, but you want them to deliver 20 TVs per month. after the first delivery, the company goes under. Where do you go to seek redress?